This is Jackie Helvey, and I'm here at Acme Restaurant in Carrboro with Kevin Callahan, who is the owner and the chef. Hey, Kevin.
Hey Jackie, how are you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
It's been a crazy year, up and down, and man, for the restaurant business, it's just been disastrous.
Yeah.
But you and your crew have managed to stay above water and then some, I'd say. First, I want to, for people who aren't aware, how long have you been here? When did you start the
We
restaurant?
started in February of '98, so 23 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
It is a long time.
And do you still love it as much as you did in the beginning?
To be honest, I love it differently, but I love it just as much.
Right. What do you, your restaurant is so fantastic. I mean, you just, are one of the premier restaurants in this whole area, I'd say. Tell people what kind of food you fix here.
We serve what we would call seasonal Southern food. It's a bit fine dining, it's a bit soul food, it's a bit, I'm about to go to the movies. It's a small town neighborhood restaurant, and that's what we want to be.
And I see you all the time at the farmers market, so I know you use locally sourced produce and things like that.
Yeah, as best we can. It's really been difficult during COVID because a lot of the way that you utilize local produce is in small ways on menus that you're able to sell to a table. And just sending to-go food, it's a very different world. People order well in advance, all those sorts of things.
Right. Speaking about that, the to-go food, tell us what's going on now, where you're at, because I know you started Carrboro United,
Right.
which is, explain to folks what that is.
Carrboro United is a local food hub that supplies complete dinners and certain types of things like eggs and chocolate and coffee that people can pick up. It's refrigerated. They can then take home and reheat. And it's from restaurants all over the area and vendors all over the area. I think we've used 40 some different vendors
Wow.
during the course. And we serve anywhere from 150 to 350 families 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you guys just celebrated a year anniversary,
First
right?
anniversary, right. So Carrboro United started sort of on the heels of the pandemic shutting down all the restaurants. And unbelievably to all of us who thought we were doing something that might last a month, or as we thought the pandemic might last a month.
Yeah.
Here we are a year later and we're still going strong. It's pretty
Oh,
remarkable.
that's fantastic. Now, in terms of what's happening here in the future, since things are starting to, let up a little bit,
Sure.
do you have a forecast for when the dining room will be open again, or?
Our plan is to open the dining room and our new patio in April.
Oh, nice. That's not far.
No, it's not far at all. We're really looking forward to it. I think it's one of those things where we want to do it well and not just do it. I think that all of us have an expectation that's pretty high of what that's going to be like, and I would be really disappointed if we weren't as good a restaurant when we reopened as we were when we closed.
Right. Now, one other thing I want to talk to you about that has come up recently with all the civil liberties things and wages and all that stuff is the living wage that you have put into place for your employees.
Yes. So yeah, living wage. Our belief is that the restaurant business is changing in a sort of profound way. That's sort of the gestation period of that has been COVID, and I think one of the main things that we're taking out of it is that the living wage is sort of a dominant theme for the people who are going to be working in restaurants. I think we want to provide that. In the past, there was a great discrepancy between various types of people who worked within the business, and I think that's something that we've really trying to pull apart. And also to work directly with our guests who are our partners in making sure that people get paid. I think that is something that feels very powerful and transparent for us because we really want people to understand that these people who are working, care to be there and that they are making a living wage and that by being in the restaurant you're supporting that. And that's something that's so vital to making a business last.
What is I worked in the food service industry for years, but it was years ago.
Right.
What is the wait staff wage.
So by law, waits are paid $2.13 an hour.
Isn't that unbelievable? It hasn't changed.
Nope, hasn't changed. With the idea, I mean, I think the reason that it hasn't changed is because tips have gone up so dramatically
Right.
over the past 20 years or
Mhm.
30 years or however long we want to talk about.
Mhm.
But the reality is that they still have to make a certain minimum. But that is something that's obviously with credit cards and digitalization is much simpler for servers to make it across the threshold of $7.25 an hour, whatever is the minimum wage with tips.
But I mean, the way things have been going this past year, they haven't even had the opportunity to do that because there hadn't been any,
No, there has. I mean,
service.
most of our sort of servers, we had people who've been here 10, 15 years. They've all transitioned to other jobs in other industries. So
Yeah.
I think the people who are going to be taking on the mantle of service at the restaurant will be new people, and they will be more than likely much younger, a new generation with new hopes and new dreams and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I would love to see that change. I never understood why waiters made so little money. And I read a story recently about the history of that, and it goes back to slave days.
Oh,
That's
I'm
where
sure.
it comes from.
Yeah.
The subpar minimum wage. But anyhow, hopefully, things will improve on that end too.
Yeah, I think that it will. I think that again, it's they're not me. Let's be clear. There are people on my team who've really worked really, really hard to figure out how to make the living wage work. And it's not a system that's going to work for everyone. I think that it's really built on each business. I'm thrilled that we're able to do it, and I hope that we can continue to do this and make it stronger and better and make our employees more empowered and as shareholders of this business. And the only way you can do that is to pay them better.
Right. And to set an example for other restaurants too, I think,
Right, as an example that, hopefully they could follow if they wanted to work at that direction. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes, there are a lot of business owners who've gone out of business this year.
Right.
And as I would tell you, there are tons of times, the first several years of the restaurant, I probably didn't make a minimum wage working hundreds of hours a week, So I don't want to judge other businesses for what they do.
Right.
But I do believe that it makes us a better business, and that's really our hope.
Yeah, it makes your employees more vested in
For
everything
sure.
that's
Right.
going on. Well, it's been great talking to you, and boy, I can't wait for you to open back
Yeah,
up.
me too. I can't wait to. We're going to have a big meeting today and hopefully get us a little bit closer as this team really locks down what we have to do, and we'll pull it off.
And your website address is?
AcmeCarrboro.com.
Fantastic. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Jackie.